and gentlemen, welcome to Marketing Monday Wins and Fails, the show where we go over all of the wins and the fails in the last week in marketing and business. And today we have a theme because there have been so many stories in the world of food marketing. We have been collecting food marketing stories for the past few weeks. We put them all into one spot because the trends are insane. The things happening in the world of food marketing and food business have been accelerating dramatically. And I want to catch you guys up on some of the most interesting things happening in this world, starting with an interesting Twitter thread I saw, a win for the concept of illusion of choice. This comes from Stakeholder Consultant, who talked about the process of apple juicification and the illusion of choice. This is a normal smoothie counter at a regular grocery store. A huge variety of interesting smoothies to choose from. But once Stakeholder Consultant started looking through them, they noticed something interesting. For example, start at the bottom. This is a pink dragon fruit and lychee smoothie. And yet, when you flip it over on the back, it's 70% apple juice. Okay, this one's gotta be different. It's guava and lime. Except when you flip it around, it's 66% apple juice. This one, berry set go. That's about berries, dude. It's 82% apple juice. This is just apple juice in a bottle with a tiny bit of berry juice. The naked juices. Now, I like these. I've had these before. They have 3 different machines. The green machine, the blue machine, and the gold machine. All designed for different aspects of your body they want to target, okay? But if you flip them around, all of them are half or more apple juice. I mean, the blue machine is 71%, and that's the one that doesn't mention apple. So why is this? Why are all of these juices marketed differently, but all apple juice? Well, the answer comes down to money. Apples are plentiful, cheap, and what's important about that is that apples, it also comes down to taste. And they have a very high natural sugar content. Now, America have a very love-hate relationship with sugar, in that we hate how much we love it. Now, over the past few decades, basically since the late 90s, US per capita consumption of soft drink has declined precipitously. We are drinking less and less soda per person, although still about 40 gallons, because we have slowly but surely realized that soda is bad for us. However, if you stack it up cube for cube, the amount of sugar in a glass of apple juice is not too different from that of Powerade or Pepsi. And so they can market it with this particular phrase: no added sugar whatsoever. And because people are so afraid of sugar, this has been a huge marketing win. The second thing that helps them out, and the reason this is the case, is that we've been adding more and more sugary drink taxes that have been working. So whenever a state, for example, puts a soda tax in to ban drinks of a certain sugar content, there's a sharp drop in sales, which means the taxes work to deter people from buying these sugary drinks. However, even though an apple juice has the same amount of sugar, in this case as like a can of Coke, it doesn't get affected by the tax. We're starting to tax soda, but not juice. The sugary drinks tax excludes fruit juices that are natural. So it's a very incredible way to both get around sugary drink taxes and attack people's natural proclivity for sugar, and also just spend less. It's just cheaper. And what I found out from researching things even more interesting is that, like, this happens even at smoothie places. People were talking in the thread about how they work at places like Jamba Juice, and like they'll show you the blender and the fresh fruits and the bowls of fresh fruit, and they're making it in front of you. But if it doesn't fill up the cup, they just fill the rest with apple juice. That's like the dirty secret. They just don't show it to you. That's crazy. I thought it was like right there in front of me. I was getting the whole part of the juice. The juice is like the least healthy part. And at the end of the day, we find out, wait, it's all apple juice? Always has been. Now, that's not the only interesting story in this wins and fails coming off food. Instead, we have a win for Condiment Wars, which apparently is getting pretty brutal and bloody. It turns out a long time ago, it was basically this: ketchup versus mustard. But in the past few years, one of the biggest trends in food has been the explosion of condiment options. Whether it's relish, salsa, mustard, sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce, we're getting fusions, mayo racha, mayo cube barbecue sauce, mayo must, 5 different types of sweet baby Ray's. The condiments are coming in fast and furious, and everyone in chat has their own favorites. Heinz even released one of those soda mix machines, but for condiments.
You've got to check out this new Heinz Remix machine. It's like a Coke freestyle for condiments. First you choose your base, they have ketchup, but then you get to pick your mix-ins. They have jalapeno, buffalo, smoky chipotle, and mango, and this thing is going to do some real work. So check this out. First you see the base coming down, and you watch above, you can see the countdown, and as it gets closer, it's going to start flashing red to let you know it is ready to eat, and you can eat this with anything fried.
We are in the future, ladies and gentlemen. Regular ketchup no longer cuts it. People need more. And it created one of these hilarious headlines. America's condiment invasion is dividing households. This is an example of Kathleen Wallace's fridge, which is now stuffed to the brim with different condiments. Arguing with her and her husband. Her future husband was always dumping sauce on her dishes. He just really loves condiments, and now their fridge bulges with bottles. Not only is our door filled, but we use a shelf for the overflow. Condiment makers around the world are sensing a cultural moment, a chance to make money. Kraft Heinz saw this tweet from the Eras Tour that said Taylor Swift is eating a piece of chicken with ketchup and seemingly ranch, which is a hyper-obsessed Taylor Swift fan tweeted this. They jumped on it and made a ketchup and seemingly ranch bottle the next day. And guess what? This hit with the audience. It hit #1 on the Taylor Swift subreddit. People saying, did anyone else here get their ketchup and seemingly ranch bottle? Even on big streamer subreddits, we're seeing weird talk about condiments for some reason. Like this art that was uploaded today about reaching for the ketchup. I don't know who it's about or why it's so eerily drawn or why it gives me nightmares, but we are seeing condiment talk everywhere. Speaking of hot dogs, Pepsi got into the condiment game. Hot dogs are better with Pepsi. Okay, that makes sense. You drink a Pepsi with hot dogs. No, they didn't stop there. Hot dogs are better with Pepsi because we're introducing Cola Chup, which is Pepsi Cola infused ketchup. Why did we need this? They're marketing it like it's the savior of hot dogs.
I'm getting like a sweet barbecue. It's really good. It tastes like Pepsi. But like salty and barbecue saucy.
It tastes like Pepsi, but salty and barbecue saucy. What a review. That sounds gross. The high end of the market is getting into condiments. There's $18 black truffle infused hot sauce. Again, they're trying to find ways to find rich people to stand out from the crowd in the world of condiments. They can't have regular condiments anymore. They need to have special truffle infused condiments so that you know they have more money. $21 ketchup in a tiny bottle. Taco Bell took a whole year to make brand new, quote, Bell sauces. And their chief marketing officer said the nuggets didn't even matter. We're using chicken as a canvas for sauces. This doesn't look that crazy to me. This is not art. This is just chicken and regular sauces. But there is one condiment of all of these that has set itself apart from the rest, that is truly, business-wise, dominating America. Can you guess what it is? Ladies and gentlemen, it's ranch. In America, ranch is the dominant empire of condiments that has become unshakable, unremovable from the throne recently, creating the ranch Death Star. How much more ranch can America take? Hidden Valley seeks total domination. They want to dominate our lives. They are saying things like Hidden Valley Ranch is coming for every meal you eat. Their general manager says, we want there to be ranch occasions at every hour of the day. That is how they are thinking. And you know what? I found this out. He's the general manager of the food business of Clorox. If you're wondering who owns Hidden Valley Ranch, America's #1 new condiment, it's the bleach company. Breakfast is one of our new ways in, and apparently ranch is the condiment of choice for millennials and Gen Z. It's one of the big taste shifts of recent years in America. And you can see here, as of 2021 and onward, ranch passed ketchup. Mayo and ranch are our top two? It used to be ketchup and mustard, bro. What happened? And again, they're coming for breakfast. Their biggest growth area, according to Hidden Valley Ranch, is breakfast. So if you start seeing marketing examples of putting ranch on eggs, hash brown potatoes, that is a deliberate effort by Hidden Valley Ranch and other ranch corporations to try and get you to think of ranch as a breakfast item. They're also trying to get it, as more of a snack item. They're seeing Cheez-It Ranch. And even outside of the food world altogether. I'm talking about the beauty space. Ranch can't stop at just food. They want to go after your lip balm. There's now Hidden Valley Ranch flavored lip balm from Burt's Bees. And it's already sold out and being resold at a massive $90 markup on eBay. So there's an interview with a ranch-obsessed woman, and her husband is interviewed. So deep is her love for ranch, there was talk of a ranch fountain at her wedding. There's only one problem: the groom. "It's a wedding," said Scott, her husband. "It's a little gross to have ranch pouring out everywhere." He was dismayed to find out they were rolling out a new ranch-flavored lip balm. Coming in for a kiss and getting a whiff of ranch, I don't know about that. So not everyone's a believer, but the believers do exist. The domination is real. The sales growth is real. Now, there are limits. They did try to make like a ranch-flavored dessert cream. They tried it for 12 months in Kroger. It didn't sell. People don't want to put ranch on their apple pie. That didn't hit, thank God. There is limits, but they're still trying. And again, with the way our economy is, splitting into haves and have-nots ever more, the wealth gap is widening. They're trying to find ways to go after the high end with exclusive VIP ranch tastings. But what was really funny to me, and what I have to give them an absolute win for, is when they tried to make it the marketing about not just selling more ranch for their bottom line, but about patriotism. America's flavor is ranch. It's a uniquely American thing. It resonates with American culture. What is more American than ranch? Now that it's past ketchup and barbecue sauce, it wants to double its sales and go for the king, go for mayo. I want to salute this great country and our love of dipping things in ranch. And I'd like you all to open up a nice bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, take a bite, and salute. Because the next story is not a win at all. The next story is a little darker. You see, grocery bills have gotten out of control, as we all know. 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, making it the main financial lifestyle. People are finding it harder and harder to afford their monthly grocery bill, which again has spiked ever since the basically the post-pandemic 21 era, and not come down. Again, the rate of growth has slowed dramatically. We are no longer having massive spiking inflation. However, the prices are not coming down. They are still actually increasing, just more slowly, which for the average regular person is a big problem. If you're not an economist, slower inflation is still, hey, I want prices to come back down to where they were. And people are getting frustrated. But thankfully, there's a person who has the answer. The CEO of Kellogg's, who wants to turn Tony the Tiger into Tony the 15th of France. Let them eat flakes! Kellogg's CEO suggests that poor families should consider cereal for dinner, even though cereal prices have also risen 28%. Here's his interview.
The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal, that's going to be much more affordable.
I'm all for innovation and marketing, but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
Good question. The idea of telling poor people to eat cereal for dinner when you're the Kellogg's CEO, you look like this, most punchable face of all time, and you make $4 million a year. Is there potential for that to land the wrong way?
The breakfast? We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now.
He doesn't think so. It's landing really well. It turns out it did land the wrong way. This guy was absolutely roasted on 100 different news outlets. It's so funny. He thought this was like a huge win. However, it was more than just an annoying CEO's comments. This is a real marketing strategy, complete with full-fledged commercials.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal.
Dinner!
Cereal.
Dinner!
Chicken!
You can have the night off, chicken.
Ah, okay.
Give chicken the night off, because what your kids need is Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and Mini Wheats. This is pretty dystopian. And this was promoted to 100 million people. They turned off the comments, and it was promoted on YouTube Kids. Children are seeing this type of ad. So I give them a win for the absolute gall this guy had to think he was gonna do this, then brag about it on national TV. But so far, we've only talked about trends in consumer preferences. We're not talking about technology, which is also having a massive impact on the world of food. This is a chart that shows some of the industries that are most likely to be affected by AI. What you don't see here at the bottom is the 99% chance it's going to affect cookbook authors. This is a guy named Matthew Kupfer who posted on Twitter that this week his wife and I were celebrating an anniversary. And his parents ordered him a very practical, thoughtful gift, a crock-pot and a crock-pot cookbook. There's just one minor issue. I'm pretty sure the cookbook was written by an AI. This one, it looks normal, right? But if you go into it, you start seeing really weird turns of phrase. Like instead of, not having to like be hands-on when you cook, they call it cooking uncontrolled for hours. Instead of saying finish cooking, they say successfully complete the food preparation. When you look at her name, Louisa Florence, she apparently has the last name of the capital city of where she grew up, and really no left shoulder and weird artifacting on her ears. Also, no social media presence at all. And if you go to some other cookbook authors, you find the same thing. And this is happening all over. But if you go to this cookbook and look at the earliest reviews when it came out, they're uniformly positive. And when I say uniformly, I mean literally uniformly. Sometimes they use the exact same words. As a busy professional, finding quick healthy, as a busy professional, they talk almost like you asked ChatGPT to write a review for a cookbook. And they all give it 5 stars, despite the fact that when you read the book, it has absolute gibberish, as was pointed out with people who bought it later, like Sarah M., who said, boy, was I disappointed. The recipes themselves are incomplete or incorrect, written by an AI, I think. Like, for example, there's no chickpea or quinoa listed in the ingredient list for the chickpea and quinoa veggie bowl. And by the way, this is a food edition of Marketing Monday, but this is not limited to food. We are seeing this in computer science for peer reviews. I saw a very interesting study here that showed ever since 2023, the mentions of words like commendable, innovative, meticulous, intricate, notable, and versatile, which are kind of like AI type buzzwords used more often by ChatGPT, has spiked dramatically. There's a significant frequency of people using these for peer reviews of other people's work. This is Google Scholar results for articles that mention both unwavering and intricate. I don't think we suddenly became more unwavering and intricate. I think people are using ChatGPT. There's a real fear here of everybody who writes something getting their thing shoved into a learning algorithm and reworded and sold back to people for less. And that's happening all over Amazon. All of these AI-generated crockpot cookbooks and other cookbooks are popping up. Here's a recipe we created for you guys. This is Ranch Fiesta ice cream. I'll be selling this as part of the Atrioc cookbook, where you add whipped cream, whole milk, sugar, and ranch dressing. You guys drooling? You can find this all in the following. Now, my Marketing Monday researcher added this slide, and I am required by law to deliver it to you. The Atrioc official cookbook, aka the Glizzy Gospel, is available to pre-order now. But AI is only one side of the coin affecting the technology world of food. The other side is robotics. And this guy's not a robot, he just looks like one. His name is Steve Ells, and he is the former CEO of Chipotle. He is starting a company called Kernel, basically another fast casual restaurant like Chipotle with more vegetarian-friendly options. Looks fine, right? Guess what? I saw a headline. The fast food workers there are earning $25 an hour with paid vacation. Okay, Kernel, let's go. What's the catch? As long as they work alongside a giant burger slinging robot arm. Specifically, that means there is only 3 employees. It's a self-serve restaurant like Chipotle, but almost everything is automated. But even the restaurant he came from, Chipotle, is trying to do the same thing. This is an example of Chipotle building out their own automated bowl creator, where the bowl is created underneath the machine, then lifted up for a human to add the final touches. Which is very, I guess you could say, interesting. I mean, I'm not saying Chipotle bowl creator is a job we have to protect, but it is something that, like, this is all coming for the food industry rather quickly, especially if consumers show they don't care if a human makes their food. This is an example of...
Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California. That's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots.
Flippy the chef makes Spud spectacular. Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too. Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember you, your favorite food, and how you like to pay.
No, I'm no Luddites, and I'm not anti-technology, but I don't love the idea of facial tracking when I enter a fast food restaurant high at 2 a.m. and it makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm wondering if these technologies are barreling towards us at a rate that we are not prepared for. Finally, there's one last aspect of food and business marketing that we have to talk about. It's the medical field, it's the drugs field. Because for the longest time in America, one of the fastest growing weight loss companies was called Weight Watchers. It was endorsed by Oprah, for Christ's sakes. It was all about watching exactly what you eat, counting calories, and determining how to get your life in balance, okay? She bought 10% of the company, Weight Watchers, and joined the board of directors and helped grow it to, millions of Americans. In the time between 2015 and now, certain things have happened. Specifically, the creation of weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound, which you may have seen in a previous Marketing Monday. Now, I called this the $500 billion drug, but in fact, it is now closer to the $1.3 trillion drug with how much it's grown even in the past year. The two companies that are the major players are some of the most 20 valuable companies in the world. And guess who is noticing? Oprah. Oprah just did a TV special where she announced she's leaving the Weight Watchers board, selling all of her stock, and promoting Ozempic. It is growing by leaps and bounds with consumers. Weight Watchers stock, by the way, down 91%. The sales of Ozempic and Wegovy have hit 5-year highs. They're hitting a hockey stick level of exponential growth, billions of dollars of revenue. And again, actually, I should disclose this real quick. I am a shareholder in Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. Just want you to know that. That being said, people from these companies are predicting that the growth will only continue. The idea is that prescriptions are used essentially for life. They've surged 300% in under 3 years. Now, there are risks. Popular weight loss drug linked to rare but severe stomach problems. European regulators are investigating them for thyroid cancer risk. I very much doubt that they've invented a pure, good, free lunch of a drug that solves all addiction issues related to food and gambling and has no follow-on problems. But what it becomes down to is whether or not the health benefits from weight loss outweigh the risks of the drug. And recently, Medicare just announced they are going to allow Wegovy coverage only for heart risks. But this is an interesting area where we are seeing a ever-increasing growth. What's funny is there's so much misinformation on both sides because while I'm sure to an average person it sounds pretty scary, the idea of a drug handling weight loss, but people should just follow good diet and exercise. Companies that make money off people eating unhealthy are very, very scared of this. I want you to know that companies that are noticing the rise of Ozempic and Wegovy subscriptions in America are now spending increasing amounts of money to try and block this at any cost and link it with any health problem they can, because if this does catch on, it will be an absolute nightmare for the bottom line of snack food companies, all of those condiments, fast food companies. I mean, again, these companies have a lot of money and want to say it's great, and those companies have a lot of money and want to say it's terrible. It's very hard to get to the truth of the matter. So I want you to know the reason I'm not covering every single story about this is because some of them are very clearly linked to think tanks funded by big fast food. So it's a real interesting area, but we need a palate cleanser here because I've walked you through so many interesting trends in the food industry. And I want to give you one thing that Marketing Monday hasn't had in a little while. A fun ad completely unrelated to anything important. A win for a little company called Central Houston Nissan. This tweet came out and said, bro, someone give this marketing team a raise immediately. And I decided to watch it and I was very impressed.
Hey folks, come to Central Houston Nissan.
They just take viral, eye-catching, dangerous-looking TikToks and then they cut themselves in.
Come get knockout deals at Central Houston Nissan.
And I checked out their TikTok and I saw one that really took the cake.
You ever feel attacked by salespeople? Not at Central Houston Nissan.
9.6 million views. We've made 14 million views in that last one. And I checked right before going live. And guess what? According to Google Maps, they are currently busier than usual. Maybe it worked. Maybe they're selling a couple more extra Nissans. So that's what I would end to say. Congratulations on making a fun, good ad by the regular workers of the company. And hopefully they got a little bonus or a check for that. Thanks for watching. Tune in every week for more wins and fails on Marketing Monday. Appreciate you.